Hey guys, it's Maymay and it's time for another review and demo. And I gotta tell you something, I think you're gonna like this one, so stick around. This is the We Are Memory Keepers frame punch board. I did this on a live Facebook the other day, and after I showed it to my viewers on there, they wanted me to get it in the store to be able to sell it because it was a little bit hard to find at the time. It's probably just because of the holidays and people are buying them up, but we did get some and we do have them in our store at maymaymadeit.com, and there'll be a link for that below. We're actually going to do them on sale for the holiday, so there'll be a sale price too, because this guy's kind of pricey. This guy retails for $29.99, but honestly, I think it's worth it. This is one of those boards where I would buy it even if I didn't have a coupon. Wait till you see. So I'm going to try something from this point on. I'm going to try to not have to cut away from this video. I want to show you this in all its glory, just from step by step. And if I make mistakes, I'm going to leave them in. I want you to see that as I do it. I've played with this machine once, and I'm going to call it a machine. It's just a punch board. It's not electrical. But I've played with it already, and it is so simple. There are 5 steps to any size frame, but it makes more than just frames, which I think is cool. So I'm going to show you what it does, and then I'm going to show you what we discovered on the live video. All right, I'm going to zoom in, so I'm not cutting away, so I'm going to have to zoom and let you guys watch me do that. So here we go. Here's what you get with this machine. You get the classic We Are Memory Keepers blade. Same thing, the blade is exposed. Please be careful when working with this with small kids, because that blade, if you were to let it fall over here or put it like this and then put your hand down on it, you could hurt yourself. So be real mindful of your blade. Then you have the classic punch and your lining up grid area. So it's a board much like they do most of their boards, but this one excites me. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get a piece of paper. I should have done that ahead of time since we're not going to be cutting away. Let me see if I've got a scrap I can use. Here's some brown. Let me cut it down just a little bit. Now here's something else that's cool. You don't have to even worry about the size that you cut here except for one cut. These arms are only so wide, so you can't go any wider than these arms. Let me show you. They're 6 inches wide. So to use this area of the punch, 6 inches is the max that you can do. I'm going to do one a little smaller because I think we'll be able to see it in the screen better. So I'm going to cut this page down to 4 by 4. Now for today, I'm just going to demo it and show you the one thing we discovered. But I know I will have projects coming from this board because I'm in love with it and I have been thinking about them and thinking about them. So there will be projects. Okay, so once you have the size of your frame established, so you know what size you want to be on your project, 6 inches or less, okay, then you decide how big of a frame you want. I'm going to do a pretty big frame so you can really see it, but your options are right here on the side. Let me get to where I can see it. You've got a 1/4 inch option, it's hard to read, a 1/2 inch option, a 3/4, and a 1 inch, okay? So let me show you what I mean by that. These little pieces come in and out, and we laughed about this. We said it was kind of like that old Mastermind game, do you remember? Or the concentration game, I think, or even like Battleship. I think they're like Battleship pieces. So these move, and you put them into the places where you want the size of your frame to be. So let's say we want to do a 1/2 inch frame today. I will put this into that second notch up, which is the 1/2 inch. And I'll show you what these guys are in just a second, because these two that sit right here are for corner rounding, which is also cool, guys, because if you don't have a corner rounder, this machine will do that for you. And I just put that one in the wrong hole. You do have to pay attention to that. See, that's why we're doing it live, right? I am live, but not live. It's recorded live. So, okay. All right, so 1/2 inch is what we're working on. So we've moved our little Battleship pieces to 1/2 inch. Before we do anything, I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. This is another Battleship type piece. See how it comes out? I'm going to go ahead and move it to 1/2 inch because I feel like if I was going to make a mistake, that would be where I do it. Okay, so I'm going to push this into that little corner where we've set our little boundaries, and I'm going to punch. And this is the shape that you get. It's pretty cool. I've already found some uses for it. Let me show you what it looks like. Someone suggested an elf boot. It would be perfect to be an elf boot, but there's a lot of things we can do with that, like photo corners. Lots of things we can do with that. You guys always like to see what I can do with what we call the remnants. All right, so we're going to punch all 4 corners, just like this, and then like this, all the way around. So see what you get? So can you see how you can already see ways to use this besides just for the frame? Because these punches are so cute, and the way they do, I'll show you in a few minutes. It's really cool. All right, so now I'm going to come to this side. Now it's time to cut the interior of the frame. And has made this so easy. Do you see this? We moved that little bar to the 1/2 inch spot. We butt our paper up to that bar, close the arm down, and now we just put our blade in and slice. Did I do that right? Yes. Okay. I was like, that didn't feel right. All right, and now I'm going to turn it, put my blade in, and slice. That one felt better. All right, turn it, put the blade in, and slice. The blade goes over the top edge of this bar. That's the only thing that can confuse you. So once you learn that, you're fine. This little piece here goes into the groove, and then you put the blade in and slice. The only thing you want to make sure you don't do is you don't put the blade outside the frame, because if you do that, you're going to slice the whole frame. You want to put the blade into the open holes that you punched earlier. All right, so here's what we get. Now, this happened the other night too when I was playing with this, and it's not a big deal. Do you see how this kind of snags a little bit? It's hard to be absolutely perfect with this dude. So if you get any of these, you can just take your scissors and just snip these little pieces off. And there's a couple, and they even suggest this in the instructions, by the way. I think they do. Let me look before I say that. Seems like I saw that suggested somewhere. Yeah. Notches may occur. Use scissors to trim. I didn't want to say that wrong. Okay. Oh, and there's a tips and tricks section. Look, A, B, C, and D. So some tips and tricks. So that's good too. All right, I didn't even read those except for that little trimmy part. So there's the first frame. And look, we just made that frame super easy. Now I'm going to tell you something. If you're a shaker card maker and you like a square or rectangle frame, this guy's going to change your game, because it's hard to do this interior cut and get it just right. And not only is it just right, it's curved. Do you see that? It's got a curve to it, so it's not just a square inside of the frame. So now that we've cut that frame, let's go back and look at what this corner rounder does. To use the corner rounder, you're going to lift these little guys out, just like so, and move them to those furthest out slots. Slide this guy in, and let's corner round the end of our frame. It's not a very deep corner. I'm going to say that's about 1/4 inch. It's not extremely deep. It's not a 1/2 inch for sure, but it's about 1/4 inch. But if you don't have a corner rounder, this gets you a 2-in-1. So that makes it a little more worth it. So there you go. Let me see. It's rounded. See how nice that looks? So that was one way we did it. The other thing that I like to point out the other night was this, and I'm going to show you how we did this in just a second. These guys here in the middle make a beautiful piece that you can use on another project. So these guys are not waste. And let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to make a mat for the front of my card. Here's my little offshoot. So we want to keep those because I think I can use those for lots of things. So there's that. And then I'm going to get a piece of paper out. Let's do white paper just for the demo. I'm going to grab a piece. I might have a piece already cut. Let me see what size this one is. Sometimes I do. 4 1/4. I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches. I want you to imagine that we're doing the mat on the front of a card. So I'm going to cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. You guys see I got my trusty Fiskars trimmer out. That's because my Cricut one is not in here. I use them interchangeably. I use the one or the other, whoever's the closest. All right, so now here's what I'm going to do. Let's say that I want this pretty decorative edge on the mat of the front of my card. I'm going to set these little pieces to 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to bring my paper in and I'm going to punch. So I made the 1/4 inch. Now, if I was making a frame, that's how big that 1/4 inch frame would be. Not very big, but that's okay. It's 1/4 inch. And I'm going to punch this all the way around. Just like so. So now I end up with this, right? This is usable. This is totally cute. You could put a picture in here. You could use these like decorative edge punch. Totally usable. Now what we're going to do to make it the mat for the card is I'm going to cut away the frame and use what's left. So check this out. Oh, see where I told you that would be the place I would probably make a mistake? I did not move that bar. So I'm going to lift this up and move this bar out of the way. This bar might seem a little snug. It's really not. It's just because it's so long. When you lift it out, you need to lift one side and then the other, and it'll be just fine. So I move that to 1/4 inch, butt my cardstock up to it, place the blade into the slot, put the blade into the punched area. Make sure you do that. Don't put it outside because you'll cut the whole thing. And then we're going to slice this guy out. So you're going to get to see me make a 1/4 inch frame, and I'll show you how we'll use the interior on the card. I think this is, I'm telling you, if you're a shaker card person, you know how hard it is to make frames. It seems like it'd be so simple, but if you're using like your X-Acto knife and a ruler, it's just kind of a pain to try to figure all that out, and this way you don't have to do it. All right, so there's our 1/4 inch frame that is totally usable for a project. Now see these little pieces that hang off? We Are Memory Keepers, I don't believe, planned for this to be a usable piece, so that's not really a problem with the machine, with the board, but for what I want to use it for, it is. So I'm just going to go through and snip them off, and then I'm going to show you what I would do with this. And we'll move the board out of the way, and here's our little offshoots again. Let me grab this piece of brown. All right, I'm going to trim it down because I want you to be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to trim this piece to the size of the front of a card. So I'm going to trim it to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Turn this out and cut it to 5 1/2. And then I want you to imagine that this is the front of our card, and now we have this pretty decorative piece to go on the front of the card. Look at that. And this is not what the board is designed to do. This is what is the leftovers from what it is designed to do, because technically this is what it was designed to do, which, look at that, amazing, right? I really think this board is worth it. This is one I'm glad I have in my stash. Now, you guys know I collect these guys anyway, so pretty much if they make one, I'm going to buy it. Now, I may not keep it. If I buy it and see it's not useful for me at all, I might give it to someone who I think it is useful for. Like the large alphabet punch board, I gave that to my mother because she does bulletin boards and I don't. But the mini alphabet punch board, I kept for myself because I love it. So look at that. You can go this way with it. You can go this way. You can make them bigger or smaller. Imagine, and I didn't trim this one, but imagine you wanted a sentiment piece, something to put your sentiment on. Look at this, how you can do this. And it's so cute. And this, like I said, is the offshoot. It is the leftovers. Also, if you wanted to make, say you were making a easel card, wouldn't this be pretty if you were making an easel card and that was your folded edge? Let me show you what I mean. If it sat up like this, you could do place cards. Look at that. And it's just the punch board. To me, that is awesome. I love when a punch board has multiple uses, which I promise there's more uses than that for this guy. I just got to get to playing with it to show you some. But I think that is amazing. To me, that is amazing. So all of the sizes are here on the board. So you've got 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch. You can also make the Polaroid frames with it, and I'll save that for another day because I want to do a video just on that to explain it. Not that it's too difficult, but for me, when I was doing it, it was a little difficult. If you would like to see the live video where we used this for the first time ever, that is on my Facebook group, which is called Maymay Made It, and so did I. Please head over there and check that out. I think this is a fun one to have. Frames of all shapes and sizes. See these ideas right here. Plus, if you go to their website, you can see all kinds of ideas. I think this is a good one. Don't forget your blade. I almost forgot to put it in there. Now, just as a reminder to you guys, I am taking a little bit of time off for Christmas. I'm going to put a photo here at the end of the video so you can see my Christmas schedule. I did upload a video on this, but I want to make sure you see my Christmas upload schedule. I'm going to put that here at the end, and I'm also going to put a couple of more graphics that are going to show you our store hours and also my 2017 schedule for next year, just so we can start to get used to those dates that are coming up. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching today. I really love this guy, and if you order it quick, we'll get them in the mail quick. I can't promise them by Christmas, but as long as the mail runs like it normally does, we kind of still have some time because these guys are amazing. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.